Ooh, the ballpark trap. Anyone ever get sucked into the ballpark trap? What about when you're first in the homeowner's home to get the business and the homeowner says, and my guess is you've all dealt with this, everybody in this room. And you're telling, well, so, I'll get your number, so-and-so. Well, can you just give me an idea as to what it would run? Can you just give me a ballpark? Has anybody ever had that? Because whatever number you give them, I guarantee you, that's the number that they expect to buy from. Don't do it. Don't do it. Ballparking is always a trap. I never gave out a ballpark number, and I'll show you how to sidestep it. You politely but firmly decline the request, right? Because as we just said, Travis, the number becomes permanent in the homeowner's brain. Even if you were to say, well, I don't know, it's probably going to come in somewhere between 20 and 25 grand. What do they hear? They don't even hear the 25. And if you come in at 24,999, they're disappointed. You will soon be on the defensive. It's just a matter of time, okay? So here's how I usually respond with that. When somebody would ask, how I did respond. I responded calmly, matter-of-factly, but unequivocally. I would say, I understand why you're asking, it's okay. But respectfully, I don't give out ballpark numbers. It's not fair to you. It's certainly not fair to me. You need a number that you can rely on. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make sure I fully understand. See, now what I'm doing is pivoting back to scope of work. What I wanna do, Danny, is I wanna make sure I understand your scope of work in its entirety. I'll get the measurements done. I'll get with my team. And this way I'll come back to you with a number that you can know is accurate. But it's not fair to either one of us if I just take a guess, right? I wanna shift the attention back to the scope of work. And then sometimes I get this one, the protest. But Don, you've been doing this a long time. You must have an idea. Anybody ever get that one? Yeah. I'm sure you have. It's human nature, right? So with that one, I would say, well, asking me for a ballpark, asking me how much this new kitchen would cost is like asking me, hey, Don, how much does a new Toyota Camry cost? I said, there's a $26,000 Camry, there's a $48,000 Camry, and there's everything in between. The point is, a Camry is not a Camry is not a Camry, and a remodel is not a remodel is not a remodel. Irresponsible for me to throw a number out there, and I don't do it. All they're gonna do is wait. They're not gonna say you're disqualified. No one's gonna say, well, now, Ryan, I don't want your number since you're not gonna pull a number out of your rear end, right? They're just gonna wait a couple of days. Don't feel pressured to throw a number out. Because what happens? What happens when you throw out numbers? You're guessing, are you not? You may have an educated guess, but it's still a guess. Nobody can estimate a job without doing their measurements, their takeoffs, whatever they need to do to come up with the number, right? Again, site conditions that might drive dollars. But what goes on in our brains when we're asked for a ballpark? Alan asks me for a ballpark, and if I give him a number that's too low, I might get the job at some point, but I got no margin. I'm basically negotiating against myself. And of course, if I want to be conservative and I throw out a number that's too high, I might disqualify myself from Alan's consideration. My point is there's nothing good that comes from giving a ballpark. Nothing. Don't do it. You are creating expectations that you simply cannot deliver. It's not possible. You guys with me? Don't give ballpark numbers. They only hurt you. That homeowner, you give them a number, that's permanent in their mind. And any dollar over that, no matter your justification, you're the bad guy. Distrust. You lied to me. Nothing good comes from ballparking. So what should you do instead? And again, this is part of maintaining control of the entirety of the process, right? So again, I tell them, the scope is the first thing in the process. I need to understand exactly what you would like done, right? I can't give you a price until I understand the scope of work. So again, shift focus back to the project, and then I'll let them know, listen, what's gonna drive the cost are too many unknowns at this point, right? I have to better understand. I haven't walked the back of the house yet. I need to see what the access points are. What if a homeowner says to you, Andrew, by the way, you're not allowed to work in the house on Thursdays and Fridays because my husband works from home. He's doing teleconferences all day and we can't have any noise on Thursdays or Fridays. Is that not pertinent information that he would want to know before he's pricing out this job? What's going to happen to his numbers? It's going to go up, right? Because that 3-week job is now a 5-week job. I'm making it up. Make sense? So you want to learn as much. Could you imagine you throw out a ballpark and then they say you can't work Thursdays, Fridays? I hope I've gotten you all to the point where you go, yeah, ballparking's a bad idea. And outline the next steps, right? Again, scope, measure, prepare, quote, and you go from there. Just pivot away from the ballpark price to focus on the scope, focus on the scope, focus on the scope. I want to get you an accurate number. Now, depending upon the job complexity, you might have a quote ready in 1 day, a week or more, I don't know, but again, manage their expectations there. And by the way, not to get off on a side subject, your physical presentation of your bid needs to look professional. I've gotten some knuckleheads that have sent me stuff to work on my house and I'm just going, are you really running a business? Really? So again, when someone brings up the ballpark, I politely but firmly tear that to pieces, get it out of their head. It's not happening. Let's focus on what you want.